Welcome to Neo Nexus. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated. For decades, space travel was a distant dream. Rockets were single-use, expensive, and wasteful. Imagine flying an airplane once and then throwing it away. That's how we used to reach space. SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, set out to change everything. Their bold idea: build a fully reusable rocket, just like an airplane. Enter Starship, the most powerful launch vehicle ever built, made of gleaming stainless steel. Starship's mission isn't just satellites, it's about taking people to the moon, Mars, and beyond. The dream: make humanity a multi-planetary species and safeguard our future. What sets Starship apart is reusability. Both the Super Heavy booster and Starship itself are designed to land, refuel, and fly again. This could make space travel 100 times cheaper. Cheaper flights mean more people in space, more science, and easier Moon and Mars bases. That's why Starship excites so many. It's a fundamental shift in space exploration. But before Mars, SpaceX needs to test, and test again. They build prototypes, each better than the last, and push them to their limits. Some tests end in triumph, others in fiery explosions. But every attempt, success or failure, teaches SpaceX something new. This rapid cycle of building, testing, and learning is their secret weapon. Trial and error is how SpaceX moves so fast. Every launch, every landing, every explosion brings them closer to Mars. Starship isn't just a rocket, it's the future of space travel. Each Starship prototype has a mission: prove the design works. Early flights weren't about orbit, they were about mastering the basics. The goal: launch to 10 kilometers, belly flop, then flip upright and land softly. It's a wild maneuver. No one's done it with a rocket this size. SN-11 was the fourth high-altitude test. Previous flights, some exploded on landing, one landed but blew up minutes later. With SN-11, SpaceX aimed for a flawless flight and landing. The rocket, built in South Texas, stood 16 stories tall and ran on 3 Raptor engines burning methane and oxygen. Methane matters. Future Starships could refuel on Mars using local resources. Every design choice points to one goal: making humanity a spacefaring civilization. Preparing for launch was intense. Engineers worked non-stop, checking every detail. They loaded thousands of gallons of supercold fuel and analyzed past flights for improvements. The pressure was on, but so was the excitement. Each test is a lesson, and SN-11 was ready to teach. SpaceX's approach: build, fly, learn, repeat. Every prototype, every launch is a step toward Mars. SN-11 was about to make history, one way or another. March 30th, 2021, launch day for Starship SN-11 in foggy Boca Chica, Texas. The site was shrouded in thick fog. The rocket was barely visible. Most launches need clear skies, but SpaceX pressed on. Millions watched online, waiting for history. The countdown began. Propellant loaded, engines chilled, flight computer ready. The rocket's silhouette glowed in the mist as engines roared to life. Starship SN-11 lifted off, vanishing into the gray sky, tracked only by onboard cameras. The ascent was smooth. Engines shut down one by one as planned. SN-11 soared to 10 kilometers, floating in the upper atmosphere. The first phase was a success. Now, the real test: the fall and landing. The world watched, breath held, as SN-11 prepared for its most daring maneuver. In the fog, every second was suspenseful. Would this be the flight that changed everything? The rocket's fate was hidden in the clouds. All eyes were on the data streaming back to mission control. The climb was flawless. Now came the hardest part. The next few moments would decide everything. Starship was about to attempt the impossible. At peak altitude, SN-11 began its belly flop. The engines shut off and the rocket tipped sideways, falling like a giant steel skydiver. 4 flaps steered its descent, using the air as a brake. No fuel needed. Onboard cameras showed breathtaking views: Earth's curve, the vast sky, the controlled fall. The flaps made constant adjustments, keeping SN-11 stable and on course. This maneuver had never been done with a rocket this size. The rocket re-entered thicker atmosphere, enduring massive forces. Data showed everything was working. Flaps, guidance, trajectory. The next step: the landing burn. SN-11 would flip upright, reignite its engines, and aim for a gentle touchdown. Previous flights failed here. Would SN-11 succeed? Altitude dropped fast. 5 kilometers, 3, 1. The flip and landing burn were seconds away. Everyone held their breath for the final act. Everything looked good, until the landing burn. Suddenly, the engine camera froze, then flickered. Green flames flashed, debris flew past, and the video cut out. Seconds later, a massive boom echoed. SN-11 had exploded mid-air. The thick fog hid the disaster, but wreckage rained down. Unlike previous crashes, SN-11 disintegrated before touching down. The culprit? A fire near one Raptor engine caused a methane leak. When the engines tried to relight, the leaking methane ignited violently. The result? A catastrophic explosion, all hidden by the morning fog. Elon Musk later explained, a tiny leak led to a chain reaction. Damaged electronics caused a hard start, and the engine blew apart. A small problem became a massive failure in seconds. SN-11's end was sudden, dramatic, and a harsh lesson in rocket engineering. Even in failure, there was something to learn. SN-11's explosion shocked viewers, but SpaceX's reaction was almost cheerful. Elon Musk joked, "At least the crater is in the right place." This attitude sums up SpaceX. Every failure is a lesson, not a disaster. Critics saw another setback. 4 prototypes lost in a row. Some doubted the ambitious design, others questioned the pace, but most saw something different: boldness, transparency, and relentless progress. SpaceX tests in public, streaming every success and failure live. Fans and engineers worldwide analyzed every frame, debated theories, and shared excitement. The open approach made everyone feel part of the journey. Progress isn't a straight line. It's messy, risky, and sometimes explosive. SN-11's fiery end only fueled curiosity for the next flight, SN-15. And yes, they skipped SN-12, 13, and 14. The adventure was far from over. Every failure is a lesson. SN-11's explosion taught SpaceX about engine safety and fire risks. Even a tiny methane leak could doom a mission. Engineers made the engines and plumbing more robust, adding better fire suppression. This is SpaceX's strategy test: fail, fix, repeat. The very next Starship, SN-15, had all the upgrades, and it landed perfectly. SN-15's success proved the design could work and validated SpaceX's rapid, risk-taking approach. Failures like SN-11 aren't setbacks, they're steps forward. Each explosion clears the path for safer, more reliable rockets. SpaceX is changing how rockets are built and how we reach for the stars. The journey to Mars is paved with lessons, craters, and courage. Every test, every risk, brings us closer to a multi-planetary future. Starship's story is just beginning. Sometimes, to reach the stars, you have to risk a few fireworks.